Rock and roll daddy. Hey, Bob Squad, what it is, what do you say, what do you know, tip the veal and try the waitress. We are talking about WWE Monday Night Raw, June 29th, 8th? June 28th, 2026. In my land of San Diego, that was 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is the correct time zone. It was on Netflix, the popular streaming service. I'll send you a link for Netflix if you haven't heard of it in the comments there. Let's get into it. Now, Obafemi wears an Obafemi t-shirt, and he's holding a crown in his hand, and he says things about destiny. So that's how we opened the show up. I should mention they were in Atlantic City, the one in New Jersey, which is fun. I don't know how they got back from Saudi Arabia so fast. I don't know how it works. Nobody really understands. Was this thing pre-taped, did somebody say? Or maybe SmackDown was pre-taped. I don't know. They wouldn't pre-tape Raw, because then you would tell the live audience that Oba won the King of the whatever. I don't know. So this was live, or it wasn't. Oba wears an Oba shirt, and he holds an Oba crown, and he says something. Is there an egg sandwich in my beer? I don't know. But anyway, he's saying things. Last week he was saying the word wonderful, which he should never say. I wonder what words he would say this week. Would he say splendid? Would he say magnificent? I don't know. But Brock Lesnar shows up. Why? That was a big deal. And he shows up with Paul Heyman. That was an even bigger deal. So Brock Lesnar makes a lot of sense in his promo. The heel's making all the good points. Hey, you called me a bunch of names. And then Brock Lesnar even says, I'll admit I'm not a great promo, but that's why I have my advocate here, which was odd. But nevertheless, eventually Brock Lesnar kicks Obafemi in the testicles, LOL, and gives him the F5 finishing maneuver. And the crowd chants one more time, and I like this. Paul Heyman didn't send Brock in to do it, or Brock didn't go back to do it, like anyone's going to tell him to do. Yeah, because there was a lot of like, oh, a huge star, Brock Lesnar is here out of nowhere, so they don't want him. They still want people to cheer Oba against Brock in this one, even though Brock made excellent points. But then he cheap shotted him in the testicles, so it's like everyone's good, everyone's bad. I don't know the answer, but anyway, Brock said, yeah, called me names and a coward and a bitch, and I'm not a great promo, and he kicked him in the balls and gave him a finishing maneuver. So after Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar ignored the one more time thing, little side note, this is the genius of Paul Heyman. After the Paul Heyman says next to the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring. Actually, that was a good promo, this Mr. Lesnar. Oh, and Brock says, oh, thank you, Paul. And he shakes his hand, and Paul even just quickly, just for a half second, just sold the handshake. Just like, yeah, I love that stuff. I love it. So then now Obafemi returns, and he gets up on the microphone, and he says he won't play cat and rat with you anymore, Brock Lesnar, which I love. Instead of cat and mouse, they play cat and rat, and I enjoy that. I hope I was hoping that he would challenge him to a cat and rat match. I don't know what it is. And then he says Brock Lesnar is still a bitch, and I should not have done the accent. Sorry. Why did I do that? But he challenges him to another final contest at the SummerSlam. And Brock says, okay, one condition. It will be in a Hell in a Cell match, like a really big cage. So here we go. Hell in a Cell. Rat and Cat, Obafemi, and Brock Lesnar with a powerful handshake. Okay. Backstage, Io Sky is limping. The Judgment Day is walking. The Street Profits and Joe Hendry are standing. And LaKnight is walking as well. So then they have a graphic that says Roman Reigns will be here tonight. Well, isn't that nice? Paul Heyman is back with Adam Pearce, who is bald. And Austin Theory runs into the two of them and says, Paul, I didn't know you were in a building. And Paul says, well, now you know. And he walks off, and he kind of makes it look like Theory's in the doghouse, or either Paul's done with the Vision, or Paul's just mad at him for losing the tag team championships. But there you go. So there's already dissension there. And then Adam Pearce turns around, and Obafemi's right there. Well, that's interesting. And they finalize, they make the match official, blah, blah, blah. Ethan Page is already in the ring, and this is on Netflix with advertisements. I could have sworn I paid for no ads when I was trying to get my VPN through, and I still have ads. I don't like it. Anyway, I have to looking into that. I need to pay them less money. Ethan Page is in the ring, and Rey Mysterio enters, and the ring canvas, I noticed, has the drumstick ice cream logo, the Slim Jim beef jerky logo, and the Riyadh Saudi Arabia logo. Why don't they just do away with all the logos and just write in giant letters diarrhea across the ring? There is the back before they go to the break. The heat spot for Ethan after he gets bounced around by Rey Mysterio was he does a backbreaker on the turnbuckle type of deal where he stands up on the second rope, holds in a sidewalk slam kind of position, just drops down and puts your back against the turnbuckle there, which is a neat move, something different. I hope it's safe, but something different. Then what happens? I think I forgot to write down what the rest of this match. Rey Mysterio did beat him with a 619 and a friggity frog splash daddy with a 1-2-3, and there you go. So it was nice to see Rey win something. The heels are allowed to lose. He's not going to lose his heat. He can come back and bitch to Pierce next week and blah 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 blah. The Street Profits are standing with Joe Hendry. That's nice. What are they doing? They're thanking people. Oh yeah, they're in the ring. I'm sorry. They're thanking people. So Hendry is singing a song about Austin Theory, and he's singing a theory about Austin's song, and Austin Theory interrupts, and Theory has a hypothesis. So they end up having a Theory versus Hendry match, and Joe Hendry defeats him with some kind of finishing maneuver. 1-2-3 in a squared circle between the ice cream and the beef jerky. Raquel Rodriguez is tall, and she's with Adam Pearce, who is bald, and Raquel wants the IC championship, very cold championship. And then Liv and Roxanne thanked her for some reason. Everybody's thanking everyone. It's the gratitude era. Everyone's thanking everybody, Daddy. And Io Sky has a crown. Io Sky enters. Io talks, not for very long, and then Liv Morgan interrupts her. And then all the bad guys, Raquel, Roxanne, and Liv, they beat up Io Sky. That was sad. We go to a break. We come back. The Knight is going to wrestle Jimmy Uso. And this is interesting. They had a fine solo match before Solo showed up. I actually missed the finish, to be honest with you. I know Jimmy won with a roll-up. Jimmy actually rolled up LeKnight and then defeated him somehow. Solo was trying to interfere, and I guess the idea Solo was trying to recruit LeKnight to help him beat up the bloodline or something, but it's obviously LeKnight wants nothing to do with Solo. He's like, Solo, you don't. And, talk to the hand, Solo. Okay, we'll stop that. Anyway, something went wrong with Solo's interference, and Jim ended up rolling up LeKnight. Jey Uso was interesting on commentary. They had Jey Uso on commentary, and being extra heelish, he was accusing LeKnight of cheating, where it really wasn't, or they're beating each other up near a table, and LeKnight to get to roll Jim back into the ring. He's got one hand on the trunks, one hand on the head or the hair, and Jay is right. It's a hair pull ref. But we're breaking much bigger rules. So I see the. So it was just interesting for Jey Uso, no matter what LeKnight did, to say LeKnight was cheating. I thought it was interesting. The backstage, the twins, the Usos, they yell at Jacob Fatu. Good luck. Bird Lady has emo makeup because she turned on Bailey last week, and she's wearing a sweater. It's late June. It's New Jersey. I know how humid it is. There's no way she was comfortable. So that's why the makeup was all smudged. She wasn't trying to be emo. She was just sweating 8 pounds in a sweater in humid-ass New Jersey. Maxine is backstage, and so is Gable, and they talk, and Maxine says she still means what she said, but she wishes she said it nicer. Well, that's nice. It's important to get a dialogue going. And on Raw, that's what they do. A lot of dialogues. Raquel wrestles Maxine, and Raquel defeats what's-her-nuts. Raquel defeats Maxine Dupree with the booby slam, where she grabs your right boob and picks you up by it. I'm not kidding. And gives you the slam there. So there you go. Hits her with the big old booby slam, 1, 2, 3, in relatively short order, which is good. Somebody needs to look dominant. I'm sorry if you're a big Maxine fan, but no one's going to get over if nobody looks dominant, so I'm sorry. So Raquel beat Maxine fairly quickly with the 1, 2, 3. Danhausen has his lag. I should mention, I forgot to write down, somewhere in the middle of this, Danhausen, he wasn't on screen, but Judgment Day McDonough and Dominic Mysterio stole his Knicks jersey or something that the Knicks gave him for helping him win a legitimate championship, lol. And then they trashed his lab or something. So Danhausen was very upset that his lab was trashed, and Liv Morgan told him they stole the thing, and they won't give it back until he returns the money and uncurses everyone and blah, blah, blah. So Danhausen wasn't having any of that. But we move on to Chad Gable wrestling Judgment Day McDonough. Great wrestling here. Just a note that Judgment Day McDonough is no longer selling the electrocution from last week. They're not having them do what Miz and Kid Wilson are doing, where they're electrocuted and zombified for like weeks at a time. They just let Judgment Day recover relatively quickly. Danhausen showed up briefly, actually, but he left the briefcase there as if he was paying them off, paying them back their money. So he disappeared. It was nice to see him at ringside, and people went bananas from my man there. And he leaves a suitcase. There's a tap out. Gable has defeated Judgment Day McDonough. Dominic Mysterio is wearing cow pants. His pants are of a cow print for some reason, so he's in a whole different mood. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do Utterly Ridiculous. Everyone always does that one. They do that. They do the Utterly Ridiculous pun on a dairy basis. So I'm sorry, I messed it up. Anyway, the briefcase explodes into the heel's face when they open it. And then Danhausen got his jersey back, but then Danhausen gets beat up by Raquel Rodriguez, and then they take the jersey back again. So that was unfortunate. I like when Danhausen wins everyone. I'm very biased. Austin Theory and Maxine are backstage. Maxine has ice on her head from the booby slam. That would be great if she just had a pack. Like what? That's anyway, Theory says something to Maxine about talking to Gable and making up with him, and he doesn't like it. And he leaves, and Otis and Tozawa show up, and they're sympathetic. Then Maxine leaves them, and Otis and Tozawa are completely neutered. The OTC, Roman Reigns is here in Atlantic City, and he doesn't really say anything. I think he tells the city to acknowledge him, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of, then there's Seth Rollins arrives. He's wearing a serious black suit. So they're singing his song, and when he's done milking his song for 8 days, they chant OTC. So they just want to chant and sing, and nobody wants to see anyone beat anybody up. Seth Rollins says something about 14 years, their career together, not the song in the Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusions 2 album. Too deep. And something about the Shield, Bore, I've heard it. And time to collect. And then Roman Reigns says, collect, you go to the back of the line. And then Seth Rollins says, I'm going to be real with you. I want to be real with all of you. We're all going to be real. We're going to talk as fake as we possibly can about how real we're being. Anyway, Seth Rollins challenges Roman Reigns to a match for the championship at the SummerSlam. And Roman Reigns says, I don't have to be, I need to be, I want to be, I'm going to beat you. He accepts. So SummerSlam, this is really about Shake telling us what matches we're going to spend the next month getting hyped for SummerSlam. So the Oba, Brock, and Estelle is huge. Rollins and Seth is huge. And we already know about Io and Liv. That's 3 so far. And who knows what's going to happen with Sammy's blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Does he wrestle Gunther, or does he wrestle Cody? Does he wrestle both? I don't know. Nobody knows. Where's this? Oh, it's in Minneapolis this year. Saturday and a Sunday. I think it's the 31st of July and the 1st of August. How about that? That's interesting. That's interesting. It's a fine Raw. Not terrible. You know, people talk. There's a lot of talking. That's fun. Anyway, this should come out beforehand. Yeah, in San Diego this weekend, Thursday the 2nd and Friday the 3rd. 1 show on Thursday, 2 shows on Friday. Grand Comedy Club, opening up for my man Zoltan again. So North County, San Diego, Grand Comedy Club. look them up, Easy Grand Comedy Club, and see if there's still tickets left, because some of those might be sold already. I wouldn't be surprised if only one of those shows has tickets still available, like the Friday late or the Thursday or something like that. I'm sure the Friday early is probably sold out. There's that. Nothing much else going in San Diego, just local stuff. Just check my Instagram at Bob Hansen Jokes for local San Diego stuff. And we got a ways to go, but later in August, one of the 21st and 22nd, or 20th and 21st, something like that. Whatever that weekend is, Friday and Saturday, Charlotte, North Carolina, Comedy Zone. Again, get tickets to see Zoltan. I'm doing the cold open again for the 20 minutes, so do that. I'm going to stop this and then upload it. Goodbye.